Medieval Chronicles presents. Imagine walking down a narrow street in a forgotten corner of medieval Europe. The houses pressed tightly together, their old timbers groaning softly in the wind, and only the faint glow of a candle escapes through a shuttered window. Behind that window, someone works in absolute secrecy. Flames tremble. Strange liquids shift inside glass vessels. Symbols unsettling. Cryptic symbols lie scattered across parchment as if part of a forbidden map. Inside that room lives an alchemist. Not quite a magician, not yet a scientist, not fully a heretic, not entirely a holy seeker, misunderstood by most, understood by almost no one. Their life is built upon coded manuscripts, endless experiments, and an unwavering belief that matter hides something, divine something waiting for the one skilled enough, patient enough, and brave enough to reveal it. This is the hidden world of medieval alchemists. And today, you will step across that secret threshold. To their contemporaries, alchemists were shadowy, unsettling figures. Monks whispered that they meddled too closely with the sacred architecture of creation. Physicians dismissed them as yet nobles and merchants visited them quietly at night, hoping to obtain the miracle of transmutation. But the reality of who they were is far more fascinating. Many alchemists were skilled botanists, distilling potent medicinal essences. Others were metalworkers who understood the behavior of lead, copper, iron, or mercury with uncanny precision. Many were philosophers deeply shaped by Greek, Arabic, and Christian traditions. They saw the world not as a collection of objects, but as a living manuscript. Every stone, plant, and metal contained a hidden narrative, and the alchemist was the one who deciphered those concealed stories. Alchemy, for them, was a profession, a spiritual quest, and an experimental science woven into one. The roots of medieval alchemy did not begin in Europe. They stretched back to Hellenistic Egypt, where Hermetic teachings first took shape. From Persia and the Islamic Golden Age came laboratory techniques, chemical methods, and treatises that left Western scholars astonished. And from medieval Christianity came the belief that the universe followed a divine order, one that could be understood through careful contemplation and investigation. When these traditions converged, alchemy, as the medieval world knew it was born, it was not only about substances and experiments, it was a worldview, a philosophy of nature. For an alchemist, transforming a metal was inseparable from transforming the soul. The furnace did not simply heat matter, refine the inner life of the practitioner, as though both were alloys waiting to be. The legendary Philosopher's Stone, therefore, was never just a mystical substance. It was a symbol and a pursuit, a bridge between the visible and the invisible. Stepping into an alchemist's workshop felt like entering a sacred chamber. The room was a beautiful, controlled chaos. Delicate glass vessels glimmered with liquids that shifted colors under firelight. Clay crucibles lay blackened from countless trials. Metal ingots were arranged like offerings. Bundles of dried herbs hung from rafters, while jars of crystals, salts, and strange powders lined wooden shelves. And at the center of this mysterious laboratory was the Athenortha furnace that never slept. It produced steady, controlled heat, a remarkable achievement in a time before thermometers or gauges. Within this furnace, alchemists performed distillation, sublimation, calcination, coagulation procedures that modern chemistry still recognizes today. But for them, every step had symbolic weight. To purify a substance was to purify the spirit. Two separate components was to separate illusion from truth. To recombine transformed elements was to restore harmony. Science and mysticism intertwined so tightly that they became one and the same. Nothing in the workshop was merely practical. Everything was meaningful. But secrecy was the unspoken rule of the art. Knowledge, they believed, it was dangerous in the wrong hands. Only a worthy disciple could be entrusted with the true teachings. In a society where accusations of heresy were common, too much intellectual curiosity could lead to disaster. But there was another layer to the secrecy: competition. Techniques for purifying metals, crafting pigments, or creating medicinal compounds were economically valuable. Revealing them freely could cost an alchemist their livelihood. So they disguised their writings in layers of symbolism. The red king meant sulfur. The white bride meant mercury. The serpent could represent the primal matter of creation. The alchemical marriage described the union of elements, and the cryptic language of black work, white work, and red work outlined stages of transformation. To an outsider, these manuscripts looked like poetic nonsense. To an initiate, they were precise instructions disguised as myth. At the center of the alchemist's ambition stood the philosopher's stone. For many, it was the key to transmutation, an ability to turn base metals into gold. But even this gold was misunderstood. To alchemists, metals were not dead objects. They were living beings, slowly maturing in the depths of the earth, moving toward perfection. Gold was the culmination of this process. If one could aid nature along, if one could accelerate or complete its work, that practitioner would have achieved something miraculous. And yet, beyond this physical dream, the stone symbolized spiritual transformation. It was said to cure all illness, illuminate the mind, and harmonize the soul with the cosmos. Some described it as glowing like the sun. Others said it shone deep red. Some believed it was a powder. Others a liquid. Some insisted it was only a metaphor for the highest state of spiritual refinement. Its ambiguity was intentional. The stone was both real and symbolic, material and immaterial. It was the heart of alchemy, beating with dual meaning. One of the most intriguing aspects of alchemy was the double life led by its practitioners. By day, they were ordinary members of society. Monks copying manuscripts, physicians tending to patients, apothecaries grinding herbs, metalworkers forging tools and armor. But when night fell, they became seekers of hidden truth, working in flickering lamplight while others slept. They experimented fearlessly, often inhaling unknown fumes or handling substances that could burn the skin at a touch. They recorded their findings in notebooks tucked into false walls or locked chests. Some faced persecution from religious authorities. Others suffered accidents in their workshops. A few simply vanished, leaving behind manuscripts so cryptic that no one could fully decode them. They lived in the margins between science and mysticism, between danger and discovery. Though often forgotten, women played an essential role in the history of alchemy. Maria the Jewess, one of the earliest alchemists recorded, invented tools still used in chemistry today, including the Trotula of Salerno, applied alchemical methods to create groundbreaking medical treatments, particularly for women's health. Isabella Cortesi authored influential manuals that circulated widely across Europe. These women worked in environments that doubted their abilities and questioned their authority. Many had to disguise their authorship or publish anonymously, yet their contributions shaped practical chemistry, medicine, and laboratory technique. Their presence reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge, even in a secretive discipline, was never entirely a male domain. To medieval alchemists, the universe was a web of correspondences. The macrocosm reflected the microcosm. The heavens mirrored the earth. The movements of planets influenced the growth of metals underground. Today, we recognize much of this as symbolic rather than literal. But for them, it created a unified system of understanding and elegant framework that blended observation, intuition, philosophy, and faith. And despite the mystical language, many of their experiments were effective. Alchemists created strong acids, durable pigments, sophisticated alloys, medicinal tinctures, and advanced distillation techniques. They worked systematically, repeated their trials, refined their tools, and developed methods that would shape the foundations of modern chemistry. Their work bridged the worlds of magic and science, not by accident, but by design. Their legacy endured far beyond their era. Although they never succeeded in producing gold from lead, they accomplished something far more significant. They pioneered the concept of the laboratory. They emphasized precise tools, repeatable experiments, and detailed records. They approached nature with curiosity and discipline. Centuries later, figures like Robert Boyle and Antoine Lavoisier would formalize chemical science. But the spark, the early flame of experimentation, was lit by the alchemists. When you imagine a medieval alchemist, do not picture a lonely sorcerer hunched over a pot of boiling metal. Picture a deeply curious mind, captivated by nature's secrets. Someone bold enough to study what others feared. Someone who believed that matter could be perfected and that human beings could be perfected along with it. Their lives were not defined by superstition, but by conviction. The conviction that the universe concealed truths worth seeking, even at great personal risk. The secret lives of medieval alchemists shine not only with mystery, but with courage. The courage to look at the dark, formless matter of the world and believe that something luminous was hidden within it. Something that, with Patine's wisdom and relentless dedication, could one day be revealed. And perhaps, in the end, that inner light, not gold, was the treasure they were truly searching for. And that's a wrap on our journey into the hidden labs and cryptic texts of medieval alchemy, from turning lead into gold to searching for the elixir of life. These ancient practitioners were part scientists, part mystics, and total visionaries. We've barely scratched the surface of their secret world, filled with symbolism, philosophy, and groundbreaking discoveries that paved the way for modern chemistry. Did this glimpse into the past spark your curiosity? If you're hungry for more forgotten histories and mysterious tales, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. And hey, if you're new here, we have a whole library of past adventures waiting for you. Go check out our earlier videos to see what other secrets we've uncovered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.